Hey guys, my name is Natalie and welcome to my channel. And today I want to show you a lip makeup look which is quite modern, quite glowy, also very beautiful and easy to recreate. Okay, without further ado, let's start our makeup. I'm starting my makeup with my eyebrows. I'm using a pretty light pencil because I want my makeup to be very lightweight, like very diffused, very blended out and centered around my accent red lip. So I'm not drawing on any harsh lines. I'm just filling in my eyebrows. So I'm just accentuating the natural shape of my eyebrows. And I'm also brushing out my eyebrows because it creates a softer look. And I blend my eyebrow pencil into my skin. Let me use an eyebrow pencil which is one shade darker than the initial shade to create that 3D effect. So I'm using the lighter shade as a base, and now I'm creating some faux hairs on my eyebrows. So here's the difference. I mean, can you see that here she's bald and she's torturing people? And here is the same spot filled in. And I'm using the Brow Sculpt gel or wax by Refi. I'm slowly brushing it out towards my temples, and I'm trying not to get lots of the product onto my eyebrow hairs. And I'm also brushing it out using a clean brush. I always love to do that to get rid of the excess of the product. And now I'm putting my eyebrows into the shape that I like. If you got the eyebrow gel onto your skin, it's better to clean it up using a Q-tip. Now let's put on our foundation. I'm gonna be using the Lancome Ultra Wear foundation. I love this stuff. It comes in the shade 210C, and I will need probably like 2.5 pumps. Let's start with 2, and I'm going to apply it using this fluffy synthetic brush because I want the thinnest application possible. This works amazing for those with no color issues, color nuances on your face. So we'll see how it will work. For me, I love this foundation because it has this natural matte finish. I applied my skincare several hours ago, so let me use a little bit of the Laura Mercier Pure Canvas Primer to prime and to hydrate my face. Okay, let's start with the foundation. I'm not going in directly into the foundation. I'm tapping it very lightly to get it onto the brush, you see, like that. It looks kind of satisfying and creepy at the same time. And now I'm going to brush it on using circular motions. The most important thing is that you don't need a lot of foundation for this method. And we're just applying it like that. You really don't need a lot. I know it might feel like you barely putting something onto your skin, but trust me. And it works best with those foundation with a medium or high coverage because you don't need a lot of product to create a really nice layer of makeup. Okay, I have a little pimple here, a little bit of redness here and there. So I will use the Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer by Charlotte Tilbury. It comes in the shade medium number 7. Unfortunately, it's a little bit darker than my foundation, but it's not going to be an issue because after blending out, it will look just fine. So I'm applying it to some areas which have this like reddish undertone to cover my rosacea, but for the pimple, I'm going to use a different concealer. I'm blending it out using my foundation brush. I'm also blending it out under my brow bone. Okay, and for this guy right here, I'm going to use my favorite concealer of all times. It's the famous Tarte Shape Tape. Mine comes in the shade light neutral. I apply it to the back of my hand, and now using a fluffy synthetic brush, I'm applying a little bit over my pimple. Like this, I let it sit for a couple of seconds, and during this time, I'm going to work with my under eyes. I'm applying the tiniest bit of concealer, and I'm blending it out using the stapling motion. I'm not dragging the concealer all over my face. No, I'm just applying it like that. I also love to use the Tarte Shape Concealer as an eyeshadow base, and you can also add a little bit of concealer to your nostrils. Okay, and let me blend out my pimple. I'm not blending it out, I'm not dragging the product, I'm just stamping it on. Let's start with the eye makeup look. I'm using a brown gel pencil and I'm applying it to my lash line. I know it looks disgusting, it feels disgusting as well, but you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm applying it to my upper lash line, but I'm also applying it in between my lashes. I'm applying a little bit to my lid just to make my eyelashes look fuller. We're going to accentuate our lips, but still I want to do something really pretty with our eyes. So just let me draw a little winged eyeliner. Okay, using this tiny brush, I'm applying the tiniest bit of the pencil. We're going to set it with some eyeshadows. We don't need a huge wing now. Little thingy will do. Just take a look at the direction of my winged eyeliner. So I'm just extending my lower lash line and I'm drawing my winged eyeliner on, and then I just hide this end of the winged eyeliner in my lash line, and that's it. There is no eyeliner on the lid, only on the outer part. You can create more of a diagonal or vertical winged eyeliner, but for today I wanted to look a little bit more, I don't know, like extended and horizontal. And also let me show you this little trick. I added some pencil to my brush, and now let me accentuate my inner corner like that and create the tiniest wing on the inner corner. It will extend my eye in this direction. And let me blend it out and also use my finger because I don't want it to look harsh. Can you tell the difference? Okay, now let's apply some eyeshadows. I will be using this bronzer by Hourglass. It's a little bit too warm on my eyes, but I did it anyways. You can use something more neutral, so you can decide. You don't need to, I don't know, like do a lot in here. I'm just blending out my crease because my eyes are kind of dropping because the highest point of my lid is situated right here, closer to my nose. So what it means that my eyes is rising here and then it kind of drops. So if I don't want my eyes to drop, I just have to kind of like lift it using this part of the eye, creating a shape that is lifting my eye. I need to darken my outer corner in order to kind of like balance my eye. So yeah, I just do that and I apply a little bit to my crease, I mean above my crease, because I want to create a little bit of a different shape. And now I want to use a sparkly shade. I need something that looks like diffuse diamonds all over your lid, something that makes your lid look kind of like wet. Here I have this palette by Charlotte Tilbury. It's called Beautiful Eye Trance, super neutral. And I also brought this palette. It's called Dreamy Bronze Beauty. This one, okay, yeah, I think this is what the shade is called. I love this shade right here. It looks really nice. But here we also have 3 sparkles. Those are not satins, metallics. No, we need something sparkly with a semi-transparent base. We want a lot of sparkles, but we don't want a lot of color. So this one looks amazing on the eyes, but it's a bit too frosty for this look. This one is a little bit too dark because it has this bronzy base, and this will work just fine. I will apply it using my finger. We don't need a lot because it also has this like golden base. And what I do now, because I want it diffused all over my eyelid, I grab my palette and I just press my finger on. I don't want a lot of product in here. Now, starting from the center of my eyelid, I start applying it in very light tipping motions. And now I also get rid of the majority of these sparkles. And now I'm applying the rest to my brow bone, so all over my eyes. So it creates this glowy effect and my lid starts looking wet. I love this effect. And now let me grab a small flat synthetic brush, and I'm just mixing these two dark brown shades together because this one is a warmer one, this is a more cooler one, and I want something neutral. And now let me set my winged eyeliner. I'm also adding this shade. I'm just kind of like putting it into my lashes. Let me set that wing. And I'm adding some product to my lower lash line to accentuate my eyelashes, to make them look fuller. Okay, you can also blend out this part, especially if you have hooded eyes. My waterline looks kind of red, and because of that, I'm applying some of the nude, it's not white, it's kind of like beige nude gel eye pencil. It's by Peely's. The shade is called Once Upon a Line, but it was a limited edition one, so I don't know if they have that, but any gel eye pencil will do. Okay, I'm actually quite happy with the results, and now let's apply some mascara. I'm using black tubing mascara. I will also apply individual lashes, so I'm not applying a lot of mascara because if you do, then you would end up with tons of product and it would be not impossible, but quite difficult to put on the single eyelashes, the individual lashes. So we only want to add some color to the eyelashes. Also, a great thing about tubing mascaras is that they don't smudge. They are not going anywhere, and the only way how you can take them off by using hot water, not hot, but warm water. I'm so sorry about that, but my camera is acting crazy today. I don't know what's happening. Okay, that's enough. I tend to apply way too much mascara. I don't know how to stop myself. So yeah, okay. Now let's take a look at this eye makeup look. I'm in love, if I'm being completely honest. And now let's proceed to our face makeup. For bronzer, I will use the Natasha Denona one. It comes in the shade Toasty. It blends out nicely. It's not greasy. I'm applying this bronzer using a brush, starting with my cheekbones, and I'm blending it upwards. So I don't use it as a contour. I just want to make my face look bronzed to the max. If it's a little bit dark for you, you can also mix it in with your foundation. The texture is amazing. Let me also contour all of my chins. And I also like to bronze the sides of my nose and the tip of the nose. And when I apply way too much and it starts looking patchy, I can always use my brush with some leftover foundation or concealer. Let me blend it out. Now we can add either our blush or our individual eyelashes because I wanted my mascara to dry out completely. But no, okay, let's apply our blush. I'm going to use one of my favorite blushes. It's the shade Grateful by Rare Beauty. Why is it amazing? Because it's red. And I love red blushes because they give you the most natural looking flush on your cheeks. It looks so fresh, so youthful, so amazing. Like, you know, like that makeup of Margot Robbie in Wuthering Heights. I'm 100% sure that you know what I'm talking about. We're not going for that look, but still. And I know that this blush is very pigmented. I always use either a palette or the back of my hand to apply this blush. Otherwise, it will create tons of mess, and it's not the best idea to start blending out a blush or something from a smaller dot, just because this blush sets and it's not a creamy texture. So you have to have time to blend it out. What I also love to do is to mute it down a bit, and I like to mix this blush with a little bit of concealer. So let's do that. Okay, let's apply a tiny dot and a little bit of concealer. This trick helps you not only to mute the shade down, but also not to set that fast. I mean, the shade still looks amazing. You can add a little bit more blush if you like, if you want to make it a little bit more red. And I usually apply it either using a brush or using a sponge or using your fingers. And you see, I love to work it into my brush so I can tell which shades will be coming out of this little experiment. Okay, let's do that together. I'm blending my blush downwards. I was blending my bronzer upwards, but with the blush, no, I'm blending it kind of like downwards, and I'm blending in with the bronzer. I want a flush look. Of course, who doesn't want that nowadays? Blush blindness, who? Blush blindness where? I'm also applying it to my temples, a little bit under my eyes. I'm also applying the tiniest bit to the tip of my nose. I do not apply it to my chin. It looks amazing on many people, but perioral dermatitis trauma is real. So no, I'm not doing that. I also love to apply a little bit of blush to my crease. And now I'm blending it out using my foundation brush. Now let's set our makeup look using loose setting powder. This one is by Laura Mercier. It's my favorite powder. I'm applying it to my forehead, under my eyes. I don't bake because this foundation has this natural matte finish, and the rest I apply to my cheeks, but it's just because I want to create a base for my pressed powders. I love this palette by Hourglass so much. This is this one palette, but it comes in the Fox box, but it's this one. I love this stuff. This bronzer comes in the shade Natural Bronze, and let me accentuate my bronzer. It has a satin finish, so I don't like applying it to the center of my face because I don't want anything glowy, sparkly on the center of my face. I love this thing right here, matte. Okay, so I'm adding just a little bit and under my chin, and I also contour my neck. Now let's apply some blush. I want to use this blush by Rare Beauty. It comes in the shade Happy, and I'm not happy about the situation right here. I have several shades of this particular product. It's one of the most fragile products in the beauty world, and you cannot press it back down. It's so light on your skin, and the finish is so seamless, so like, oh my god, it's so beautiful. I can't, I mean, just look at that. Just look at this finish. And this shade Happy, it's, and I'm even thinking about purchasing a new one, but I need to rent, I don't know, like an empty apartment or an empty room just for this blush. Let's apply our individual lashes. Those are not like quite individual lashes. Those look more like clusters to me. So I ordered these off Temu, so you can use anything that you have. Here we have a huge chunk of eyelashes right in the middle and two smaller clusters or individual lashes on the sides, and it helps create this like wispy effect. So I'm gonna be using the 14 millimeter, maybe like two of the 12 millimeters and one in 10 millimeters. So where do we put our clusters? You want to skip the first maybe like 2 or 3 eyelashes, and you want to apply it right here, because if you apply it way too close to the outer V of your eye, it will just drop your eyes. You don't want to apply it right here. I mean, I can show you the effect. So you don't want to apply it like that. You want to apply it like that to create more of a lifted look. Let's add a little bit of glue to the base of the cluster. I always use tweezers to do that. Some people use their fingers. Now the 12 millimeter. Okay. And I don't place it like that. I try to place it not like this, but diagonally. And the little one. And I'm looking downwards, so you can see the shape that I'm creating. And also what I like to do is to push my eyelashes a little bit downwards so it creates this Marilyn Monroe look. Okay, I think I'm done with the eyelashes. And now to our lip makeup. So my lip combo is going to be the following. I will use this dark brown lip pencil. It's by Louise. It comes in the shade When in Rome, but again, I feel like it was a limited edition pencil from their advent calendar. Then this lipstick by Natasha Denona, it's 100% expired because it was a limited edition one, but I love the shade. It comes in the shade Gigi. It has a warmer undertone. I prefer reds with a warmer undertone. And I also will use this lip oil. You can use either a lip gloss or any lip oil really. So let's start with a lip liner. And we need a darker lip liner so that we can create an ombre effect on our lips. I'm applying this lip liner and I'm creating the shape that I'm happy with, and I'm blending it out inwards. And I also want to make it a little bit darker in the corners of my lips. And here I'm also applying some lip liner to the corner of my lips, and I'm blending it out. And we want to leave the center of our lips clean. And let's apply our lipstick first to the center of the lips. And now using a brush, let's apply this lipstick all over our lip liner. It should be fully covered with your lipstick and create like a marsala shade. We'll clean the corners and everything after we're done applying our lipstick. So this technique helps you to provide an ombre effect on your lips. So how do we clean it up? I need a flat synthetic brush and also a powdered foundation which comes in the same exact shade as your foundation. I mean, it doesn't have to be the same brand. The shade should match. It shouldn't be lighter or darker. No. And I don't like using a foundation for this. I don't like using a concealer because those are cream products. And cream products, they tend to bleed, and it's the powder foundation. I'm using the MAC one, the Studio Fix. Mine comes in the shade NW25, and it works amazing because it stops your lip looks from bleeding, and it also helps you create some sharp lines. Can you tell the difference? And now let's apply the Geese Lip Oil by Geese. I feel like it's a hybrid between a lip gloss and a lip oil. I want to use it for a glossier finish. I want to use this Hourglass palette. This powder comes in the shade Dim Light, and I love to polish the sides of my face to blend it out further. This is a satin shade, so I don't like bringing it towards the center of my face, so I'm only polishing the sides of my face, and I'm using a kabuki brush for that. It blends out everything amazingly. Now to the fixing spray, I want to use this one. I don't want any matte fixing spray because my skin is already a little bit matte. Okay, and I'm applying my fixing spray to the sides of my face, and I try not to spray my eyes, my mouth. I'm using the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray by Charlotte Tilbury. Okay, let's take a look at the hair. Now with the bangs. My bangs is quite long and wild. I don't like putting it into the heatless curler just because it becomes way too flat, you know? So I prefer to style it afterwards. I'm using a curling one. It's the Babyliss one. I don't know, I mean, it doesn't matter. It is 32 millimeters wide, so I need a wider curling one for that. Here it's already done. It looked like that. So what we want to do, I'm right-handed, so we want to curl it away from our face. So the one goes on top of the strand and the thingy, the clip, goes under. You see, and we start to rotate it away from the face. Okay. Yeah. So you can add a little bit of hairspray or anything that you see fit. Here is the finished look I'm literally in love. It looks so chic, so glowy. Of course, I get overboard with the blush, but who cares? It's 2026 and we're all about the blush. I love the glow, but you know, my face is dry. It's kind of matte, but it looks glowy. I love the glow on the eyes, on the lips, on the skin. It looks so fresh, so glossy. Oh my God, I cannot. But of course, you can switch the lips. You can add a nude lip. You can add a dark red lip. You can add a blue lip, anything really, because this is a very neutral makeup look, which looks amazing. You don't have to add lashes. I just added them for a little razzle dazzle. You don't have to do that, but I think it looks amazing. You can use it on the everyday basis. You don't have to like go with your sparkly shade all over your lid or under your brow bone. But I mean, in real life, in an office or anywhere else, it would look amazing. So yeah, let me know your thoughts about this look in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to my channel and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!